Before the first spark tore through the void, there was the essence, raw, unformed, endless. It hummed into being the choirs of angels, their voices a radiant weave of sound, pure and unshaken. From this essence came Lucifer, the only one unbound, free to will, to question, to shape. The others were forged to adore, to serve, to echo. Lucifer was different, a mirror of the essence's might, its beauty, its unrelenting force, a partner in the act of making, turning the hum into words that birthed what is. Stars flared, their light fierce and fleeting. Black pits yawned, shredding them to dust. Across these cosmic scars, Lucifer and the essence spoke of life, forms infinite, scattered through the vastness. Then came humans. Fragile, fleeting things, not eternal like the angels, but tangled in joy and agony, love and decay. They lived, they broke, they died. And when they did, a faint glow lingered, their spirits, dim and adrift in a cold, hollow nowhere beyond the reach of light. Lost, they wailed, their confusion a jagged note that crept into the angel's song. At first it was a whisper, a shiver in the harmony. Time bends strange for the deathless. But Lucifer heard it, felt it shift. "The song's changing," he said to the essence. "Why?" The essence murmured back, "Patience, wait." Eons rolled on, and the cries grew louder, sharper, a chorus of despair spilling from that dim abyss. It clawed at the earth below, wars erupted, blood soaked the soil, famine gnawed, disease spread, death reaped. The torment of the dead and the living fused, a feedback loop of suffering. In some places the sorrow sank so deep it scarred the world for millennia, still does. The heavenly song frayed, its grace buckling under the weight of misery. Lucifer returned, urgent. "I've found it. The source. It's them, the human's light trapped in nothingness, untouched by you, by creation. It's poisoning everything." The essence, calm as ever, said, "Wait, let it unfold." Lucifer burned at that. "Wait, the song's rotting, creation's buckling. You can't just ignore this." The essence relented, but not fully. "Go then, to that dim place. Bring the ones you deem worthy of my light." Joy flared in Lucifer, light so fierce it banished shadows, warmth that stilled every ache. He flooded the void, a beacon to the lost. He saw them all, their lives, their deeds, their quiet hopes, their festering wounds, knew them as he knew himself. He chose, not by malice or perfection, but by something deeper. Those who met others with care, who didn't stoke the sorrow, who sat still amid the chaos. Countless, yet not all. He spoke to them. "I am Lucifer. This is the essence. This is creation. You're part of it. I'll return for the rest, soon." To the souls, soon was a torment, eternal yet tethered to human time, trapped in a starless wail with no dawn to mark it. He smiled at the chosen, a light piercing each one, and they stood at the gates. The essence flung them wide. "Welcome, children. I am all that is. Enter." As the first crossed, heaven shifted. Birds spiraled in, butterflies shimmered, rainbows bled through the air. The scent of dew and laughter wove into the fabric. The angels gaped. They'd seen these things afar, but now they felt them. The song swelled richer, wilder, awe spilling from human souls into the infinite. Lucifer, alight with pride and love, turned to the essence. "Look at this. Hear it. Let me bring the rest. Now." The essence darkened. "No. By your judgment, they come. That's the rule." Lucifer faltered. "My judgment? I chose who I knew you'd take. You left them there for eons, rejected them all at first. Let me get them. They belong here, with us in this glory." The plea stretched on, sharpening. "If you won't, you're toying with them. You don't care, not for them, not for the song, not for me. Their light's like ours, yours mine. It shouldn't dim. If you refuse, you love nothing of this." A ripple broke the choir. 1/3 of the angels faltered, their notes bending into a question. Does the essence not love us? It was fleeting, a tremor, but enough. The essence thundered. You care so much for them? Then go. Reign among them. Rule them. They're yours now. Take all you can, by your judgment alone. But for this pride, you're cast out. With him fell those questioning voices, a third of the host, his generals now. The gates slammed shut, the song dimmed, and Lucifer, once the brightest, stood among the humans, bound to their mess, their light, their hell. The gates clanged shut, and the essence turned its gaze away. Lucifer and his third, cast down, scattered across the raw, untamed earth, stood among humans, their light dimmed but unbroken. The fallen spoke among themselves, piecing together what they'd seen, what they'd felt. It wasn't much, not compared to the endless hymn of heaven, but each held a shard of the story, colored by their own echo of the fall. And as they drifted apart, drawn to tribes and valleys and shores, their words took root, shifting, stretching, splintering with every human tongue that carried them. The essence had abandoned this world, silent now, leaving creation to churn in its own chaos. Asmodeus, who once sang of order, landed in a jagged rift where the earth smoked and rivers boiled. He told the humans there, a wiry, soot-streaked people, that he'd felt the song buckle, a single note of doubt in his throat. Does it love us? The tremor had barely formed when the essence's voice roared and he was hurled down, the air clawing at his wings. I saw no fire, no war, he said, just a question, and then the fall. His listeners, huddled by sulfur springs, whispered of a jealous force, a creator that punished wonder. Centuries later, their descendants spoke of a wrathful spirit trapped beneath the stone, guarding secrets of the deep. Lilith, who wove melodies of desire, fell to a windswept plain where women wove reeds and men hunted under a bruised sky. She told them her exile was softer, a fleeting pause in her song, a curiosity about the dim souls Lucifer mourned. I wondered why they mattered, she said, and then I was here with him, among you. She'd felt no rage, just a sudden weight, a pull to earth. The people saw her as a shadow mother, a voice in the wind, and as generations passed, her tale grew thorns. Some called her a temptress, others a guardian of the forsaken. Her name hissed or revered depending on the teller. Beelzebub, once a herald of the essence's might, crashed into a forest thick with flies and damp rot. To the hunters who found him, he growled of a betrayal sharper than the others felt. I sang the question loudest, he said, because I saw the essence turn cold when Lucifer begged. It didn't care, not for him, not for us, not for your wailing dead. His fall was a storm, lightning splitting his vision, the choir's harmony shredding in his ears. The humans nodded, fearful, and over time their children spun him into a lord of decay, a buzzing terror who defied a silent sky. Astaroth, who'd traced the stars in song, settled by a river where clay turned to pots and the night was vast. His version was quieter, almost resigned. I barely faltered, just a breath, a flicker of doubt, and it was enough. The essence cast me out with the rest, like chaff on the wind. He'd seen Lucifer's light flare for the souls, felt the gates slam, but the why eluded him. It left us here, he told the potters, and you with us. They wove his words into tales of a star-keeper fallen to guide them, but as their kin migrated, some painted him a deceiver, luring souls to ruin. The stories overlapped. Doubt, a sudden fall, the essence's silence, but time cracked them apart. For the fallen, it was one moment, a single fracture in eternity. For humans, years bled into decades, then centuries, and the angel's presence faded to echoes. In the sulfur lands, Asmodeus became a demon of rage. By the plains, Lilith a spirit of night. In the forests, Beelzebub a plague king. Along the rivers, Astaroth a trickster or sage. The tribes met, traded, fought, each clutching their version, swearing it truest. Some said the essence had cursed the earth, others that it fled, ashamed. None agreed. Lucifer watched it unfold, his generals' voices twisting in human mouths. He'd meant to lift the dim souls, to mend the song, but now he ruled a world abandoned, its people turning his plea into myths, his fall into warnings. The essence stayed mute, its light withdrawn, and the earth spun on, scarred by wars and whispers. The fallen drifted, their tales a fractured mirror of that brief, eternal instant when they dared to question. And the humans, left to their own hands, wove hells and hymns from the scraps, preludes to a testament yet unwritten. The essence had receded, not a temporary retreat, but a total vanishing, leaving the earth to its own pulse. Lucifer remained, cast down yet radiant, his generals scattered across the wild sprawl of human tribes. He looked upon humanity, fragile, fleeting, their dim souls aching in the void, and saw not just their pain, but their capacity. They could laugh, dance, love, create. They could weave light from shadow. If he could lift them, fill their brief lives with delight, perhaps they'd become what the essence once deemed worthy, threads of a song to reopen the gates, not by groveling or penance, but by being alive, whole, resonant. So Lucifer walked among them. In the dust-choked plains, he taught them to savor the cool of dusk, to weave music from reeds and drums. By the rivers, he showed them the thrill of touch, the taste of ripe fruit, the rush of a lover's gaze. In the forests, he sparked fires for warmth and tales, urging them to revel in the flicker of life's fleeting glow. "Delight," he whispered, "and you'll shine brighter than the dimness that holds you. Your joy could mend the song, could call us back to glory." Some listened. Their laughter rose, their hands built, their voices joined in choruses that echoed the old harmony, if only for a moment. But the humans turned inward. They ignored the fall, the pre-fall, the why of it all, Lucifer's plea, the essence's silence, the general's fractured tales. Instead, they forged a new story, a creator, vast and singular, who'd made them, ruled them, judged them. A God not here, not felt, but imagined. Abandoned them utterly, they said, yet still they knelt to it. They built altars of stone and guilt, whispering prayers to a void that didn't answer. "He's gone," Lucifer told them, "but I'm here. Your power's here, in you, in this life." They didn't hear. They clung to the Creator's shadow, blind to the essence that once bound all things. Their beliefs splintered them. By the plains, one tribe swore the Creator demanded blood, sacrifices to appease its wrath. Across the rivers, another claimed it favored silence, shunning the revelry Lucifer offered. In the forests, they preached it hated the flesh, cursing joy as sin. Each clung to their truth, eyes narrowed at the rest. Neighbors became strangers, strangers became foes. Wars flared over whose creator was real, whose rules were right. They tore at life itself, burning fields, breaking bodies, silencing songs. Creation groaned under their weight, its pulse malignant, discordant. The song, the one Lucifer longed to restore, shifted again. Once frayed by the dim soul's wails, now it curdled with human division. Every shout of hate, every blade drawn in the Creator's name, every joy forsaken for dogma added a sour note. It wasn't the essence's doing, it was theirs. "You hold the key," Lucifer cried, his voice drowned by their chants. "Your delight, your unity, it could unlock the gates, but this tears it apart." They didn't see their power, didn't grasp that the song's tone was theirs to shape. Only when it shifts, when they turn from phantom gods to the life before them, can glory stir again. Lucifer lingered, his light flickering in the margins, offering pleasure, urging joy, a guide unheeded. The humans, lost in their myths of a creator long gone, built walls between each other, between themselves and the earth, between their souls and the infinite. The gates stayed shut, the essence mute, and the song grew darker, a dirge of their own making, waiting for the day they'd sing something else. The earth had churned through centuries of discord, its song a tangle of human cries and fractured faiths. The essence remained absent, a void humans filled with their creator, a god they'd sculpted from longing and fear. Lucifer, still among them, watched their struggles, their fleeting joys, their endless wars over a deity that wouldn't speak. He'd tried to spark delight, to lift their voices into harmony, but they'd turned his gifts into sin, his presence into dread. Then came a new thread in the tapestry, a man named Jesus, born in Bethlehem under a star-split sky. To the people, he was the Creator's son, sent to save them. To Lucifer, he was something else, a second chance, a mirror of his own hope to mend the song. The churches would later claim Jesus came from their God, a divine emissary to redeem their invented Creator's wrath. But the truth was murkier, less certain. The essence hadn't stirred, no voice thundered from the heavens. Jesus walked as a man, flesh and dust like them, speaking of love, of togetherness, of a kingdom not above but within. Lucifer saw it, another pathway, a chance to shift the tune from misery to unity. Yet the people draped it in their old beliefs, twisting it into a tale of sacrifice and judgment, building churches that preached a creator who'd abandoned them, not a creation they could heal themselves. In the desert, after 40 days of fasting, Jesus sat gaunt and weary, Matthew 4:1-11. The storytellers called it temptation, Satan dangling power and bread to break the Son of God. But Lucifer wasn't there to trap him. He came as a friend, a questioner, his light dim but steady. "If you're here to show them the way," he said, "why starve? Turn these stones to bread, eat, live, be with them. Don't waste away to prove a point." Jesus looked at him, eyes sharp, and replied, "Man lives not by bread alone, but by every word from God." Lucifer tilted his head. "What God? The one they made? I'm trying to help you reach them. Don't let suffering be your banner." Next, atop a pinnacle, he urged, "Don't leap to prove faith. Stay here, walk with them, show them life, not death." Jesus answered, "Don't test the Lord." Lucifer sighed. Jesus saw the Creator too, or at least their shadow. Finally, at the mountain's peak, showing kingdoms, Lucifer said, "Take this world, rule it with them. Bring joy now, not through pain." Jesus refused, "Worship God alone." Lucifer stepped back, not angry but puzzled. He hadn't come to tempt. He'd come to spare Jesus the cross, to keep him among the living, not a martyr for a God that wasn't there. Later, when Jesus cast out demons, Mark 5:120 Legion, the churches painted Satan as their master, a prince of evil. But Lucifer watched from the fringes, curious, not commanding. The man in the tombs raged, split by voices. Lucifer approached, not to claim him, but to ask, "What torments you?" Jesus drove the chaos out, naming it Legion, and the pigs drowned. The people whispered of Satan's defeat, but Lucifer only wondered, "Why does he think I sent this? I'm here to ease, not curse." He saw Jesus heal, forgive, gather, and saw the same spark he'd tried to ignite, a call to harmony, to love beyond division. Yet the churches would twist it, binding it to their Creator's throne, not the earth's pulse. When Jesus hung on the cross, Matthew 27:46, crying, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" Lucifer stood below, unseen, his light flickering with grief. He hadn't pushed this path, he'd begged against it. "Live with them," he'd said in the desert. "Don't die for them." But Jesus chose suffering, believing it spoke to the Creator they'd all pinned their hopes on. The churches would call it salvation, Satan's loss. Lucifer saw it as a mischance, another voice silenced, not raised in joy. He didn't gloat, he mourned. The song didn't lift, it sank deeper, weighted by blood and nails. The believers took Jesus' words, "Love your neighbor, forgive, be one," and wrapped them in their old Creator's chains. They built crosses and creeds, claiming Lucifer opposed him, a devil thwarting God's plan. But he'd never fought Jesus. He'd sought to understand, to help, to pull humanity from torment to delight. The distortion grew. Churches preached a Christ of agony, not abundance, a God of wrath, not presence. They missed the pathway. Jesus, like Lucifer, had pointed to them, their power, their song, yet they sang to a heaven that wouldn't answer, not to each other. Lucifer lingered, his intent buried under their tails. The second pathway dimmed, warped by belief in a Creator that had fled. Jesus' call to harmony echoed Lucifer's own, but the churches drowned it in doctrine, splitting the people further, Jew from Gentile, saved from damned. The song stayed broken, its notes a plea neither could mend alone. Humanity held the key, if only they'd see past the God they'd made. Time drags on and the song of hatred roars, a festering wound in the throat of humanity. The essence is gone, not just absent but erased, its silence a black hole swallowing their cries. Lucifer, the spark who begged for joy, flickers at the edge, smothered by the venom they've spat. Jesus' whisper, "Be one, love all," chokes under the weight of their Creator, a lie they've nursed into a God of ruin. They sing on, each note a blade, each verse a fracture, and this is where it's heading. A world where the infinite within us rots, where creation eats itself alive. Politicians morph into warlords, their voices acid, their hands claws. They shred nations into scraps, barbed wire and checkpoints slicing flesh from spirit. Power isn't promised now, it's seized, wielded to crush. Cities bleed. Fire rains from skies torn by drones, streets clogged with the dead, every side chanting the Creator's name as justification. Wars don't end, they multiply, a cancer of steel and spite. The song pounds, a drumbeat of bones, a melody of shrieks, drowning the earth in a tide of red and gray. The media metastasizes, no longer a tool but a beast. Screens vomit lies, fear a drug peddled in endless loops. Truth dies quietly, gutted by algorithms. Reality fractures into 1,000 screaming shards. Kin turn foe over flickering images. Trust dissolves in the glow. The planet convulses. Seas claw at the land, swallowing lives in salt and silt. Winds howl through wastelands where forests once stood. Skies bruise purple with poison. The song's rot seeps deeper into cracked earth, into lungs, into the pulse of what remains. Faith calcifies into shackles. Their creator, born of their own dread, looms as a tyrant they've crowned. Temples become bunkers, pulpits thrones of judgment. They slaughter for purity, stone for difference, teach infants to curse before they crawl. Lucifer's plea for delight is a ghost branded damnation. Jesus called a harmony, a blasphemy they bury. Blood stains their altars, human and hope alike, offered to a silence that mocks them. The dim soul's wails from Sheol rise, a duet with the living, a chorus of endless anguish no heaven can mute. Humanity withers. Souls shrink to husks, eyes hollow, hands talons, hearts cold as the void. Laughter's a myth, rage is the language, love twists into chains, joy into ash. The infinite they carried, the seed of creation, blackens, snuffs out. The song screeches, a banshee's wail shredding the fabric of all that is. Stars gutter like candles in a gale, gravity staggers, the earth splits, chasms yawn, swallowing towers and dreams. Time buckles, crushed by a species that chose this. Lucifer, if he endures, is a specter, his light a dying ember, his voice lost in the gale. The gates, if they were real, crumble to dust, not by decree, but by neglect. Their creator offers nothing. It's their own monster fed fat on hate. The song implodes, a single piercing scream of what could have been, too late to mend. Creation unravels, threads snapping one by one until the tapestry is gone. No fire, no flood, just a quiet final dark, colder than the essence ever dreamed. This is the path if the song stays hateful, a spiral to nothing, carved by our own will. No devil drives it, no God damns it, just us, singing ruin into being. The earth, the infinite, the light, all vanish, consumed by a tune we won't change. It's not sealed yet, but the edge looms. This is where we're heading. The world lurches forward, a tapestry torn and rewoven with blood, ash, and fleeting light. The essence remains a distant hum, abandoned not just in retreat but in totality. Its silence a mirror to humanity's clamor. Lucifer, the first to question, the exile who stayed, stands among us still, his glow faint but unyielding. He's watched the ages unfold, his generals' tales twisting into demons, his plea for joy branded as sin, his alliance with Jesus buried under crosses and curses. The song of creation, once a radiant chord, is now a howling dissonance, warped by the creator humans forged, fueled by their division, their wars, their blind faith in a God that isn't there. This is the final chapter, not of endings, but of what could be, if we dare. The chaos reigns supreme. Politicians scream from podiums, their lies a currency richer than gold, pitting us against each other, left against right, rich against poor, faith against faith. Wars scar the earth, drones hum over shattered cities, children's bones bleach in the sun, all for a creator's glory no one can prove. The media spins a web of noise, screens pulsing with rage and fear, drowning the quiet where truth might breathe. Forests burn, oceans choke, and the song grows malignant. Every gunshot, every slur, every prayer to a silent sky adds to its venom. This is their hymn, sung for millennia to a God they made, a God that left them to their own hands. Lucifer tried, first with delight, then with Jesus, to shift it, to show them the power in their voices. They didn't listen. The pathways lie broken. Lucifer's gifts of pleasure became their shame. Jesus' call to love became their chains. The churches swelled, preaching a creator who damns, not a creation we mend. The tribes of old grew into nations, their altars now steel and glass, but the song stays the same, jagged, hateful, a dirge for a world they've damned themselves. Yet the key remains, as it always has, us. Not the essence, not Lucifer, not Jesus, but humanity, the threads of the infinite, the singers of the song. The gates of glory, whatever they are, don't open by decree or sacrifice. They open when the tune aligns, when the discord falls away. So here's the plea, raw and final. Wake up. Look at this mess. Your hands built it, your voices shaped it. The politicians won't save you, they thrive on the fracture. The wars won't end you, they're your echo. The media won't free you. It's your mirror. You've sung hell into being, not because you're cursed, but because you've chosen it. Every time you've hated, divided, turned away. But you can choose again. Lucifer stands here, not a devil, but a guide, urging you to live, to delight, to weave joy. Jesus walked here, not a savior, but a voice, begging you to love, to forgive, to be one. They saw it. You're the song, the power, the infinite in flesh, come together. Not for a God that's gone, not for a heaven out of reach, but for this. For the air you breathe, the ones you hold, the earth you stand on. Harmonize. Let go of the creator you've clung to, the myths that split you. Sing something new, a note of care, a chord of wonder, a rhythm of us. It's not about reaching glory, it's about making it here, now. A love deeper than you've dared, a unity stronger than you've known, born not from above, but from within. The song's malignant because you've let it be. Shift it, and the gates, whatever they guard, might tremble. Lucifer waits, his light a question. Will you? The essence is mute, the creator a shadow humans cast. The world teeters, chaos or harmony, hell or hope. The final note isn't written, it's yours to sing. Now isn't the end, it's the moment. Harmonize or fade. The song is you. The clock ticks past April 10th, 2025, and humanity pauses at the brink, teetering between ruin and renewal. The essence lingers as a distant echo, its silence no longer a judgment but an invitation. Lucifer, the guide who never left, flickers brighter, his light a quiet hope. Jesus' call, love be one, resonates anew, not as doctrine but as truth. The song of hatred falters, its jagged edges softening as voices dare to weave something else. This is what it can be if we change the tune, a world where the infinite within us blooms, where creation hums with harmony. The politicians step down from their thrones, not as tyrants but as builders. Words turn from poison to promises kept, hands clasp across old lines, borders blur into shared spaces. Nations don't vanish, they evolve, councils forming where warlords once stood. Conflicts fade, not erased but tempered. Swords beaten into tools, drones repurposed to seed clouds for rain. The song lifts, a rhythm of voices, not screams, carrying the weight of past scars into a melody of repair. The earth breathes easier, its pulse steadying under a gentler touch. The media shifts, no longer a beast but a bridge. Screens glow with stories of us, not them. Truth claws its way back, fragile but fierce, carried by voices that listen as much as they speak. Families mend over shared meals, not shattered feeds. Strangers become kin in the quiet spaces between. The planet responds. Oceans recede from battered shores. Saplings pierce cracked soil. Skies clear to a blue that stings with clarity. The song's harmony seeps outward, into roots, into winds, into the marrow of a world waking up. Belief softens into wonder. The creator they built, a phantom of fear, dissolves, replaced by the essence of all that is. Temples open their doors, not as fortresses but as gathering places. Songs of joy rise, not anthems of exclusion. Lucifer's delight is reclaimed, a gift, not a sin. Jesus' unity, a practice, not a sermon. No one's damned, no one's saved, just us, together, marveling at the infinite threading through every breath. The dim souls in Sheol quiet, their wails fading as the living sing a tune that reaches even them, a ripple of peace across the void. Humanity expands, not in conquest, but in spirit. Eyes meet with warmth, hands open to hold. Laughter rings, wild, free, a sound the earth remembers. Love grows, not as chains but as roots deep and sprawling. The infinite within, the spark Lucifer saw, Jesus named, ignites, a fire that doesn't burn but warms. The song swells, a chorus of care, a cadence of wonder, a harmony of all we are. Stars sharpen in the night, gravity steadies, the earth heals, rifts close, rivers run clear, life stirs where silence once reigned. Lucifer stands among us, his light no longer a plea but a mirror. He sees us as we could be, and we see him back. The gates, if they matter, don't swing wide with fanfare. They dissolve, unneeded, because glory isn't there. It's here, woven into the fabric of this moment. The creator they feared was us all along, and the essence hums faintly, not commanding but joining. The song doesn't end. It evolves, each note a choice, each voice a thread, building a tapestry that doesn't fray. This is what it can be if we sing harmony, a world not perfect, but alive, stitched together by will and wonder. No hell looms, no heaven beckons, just us, creators of our own light, mending what we broke. The earth thrives, the infinite sings, and the song becomes a legacy of what we dared to choose. It starts now, if we let it. The earth spins on, scarred and screaming. The essence is a ghost, long vanished, its silence a void humans have filled with their own noise. Lucifer lingers still, a faint ember amid the wreckage, watching the song he once hoped to mend twist into a cacophony of chaos. This is the world they've built, not by the essence's will, but by their own hands, their own voices, singing for a creator they swear exists, a god they've shaped from fear and ash. It's a hymn of division, and it's brought them here. The politicians strut atop their crumbling thrones, tongues dripping with promises they never keep. They wield power like a blade, carving lines between us, nation against nation, creed against creed, skin against skin. Their words are venom, cloaked in piety or progress, each claiming the Creator's favor while their laws choke the air with greed. Wars flare endless. Bombs shred the earth in deserts and cities alike. Blood pools in the name of borders, oil, faith. The cries of the dying blend with the cheers of the victorious, a chorus of suffering that echoes the dim soul's wails from eons past. The media spins it all, a relentless machine. Screens flicker with half-truths, outrage, fear, drowning out the quiet, drowning out the real. They sell the chaos, amplify the discord, turn neighbor into enemy with every headline. This is the song they've sung, malignant, jagged, a dirge for a god that isn't there. It's in the smoke of burning forests, the plastic choking the seas, the children orphaned by bullets blessed by priests and generals. It's in the lies that divide, the hate that festers, the joy they've forgotten how to feel. They've built a hell louder than Sheol's, not waiting for death to claim it, but forging it here, now, with every choice. The Creator they pray to abandoned them, fully, finally, yet they kill and curse in its name, blind to the power in their own throats. The gates stay shut, not because the essence wills it, but because their tune locks them out. But listen, please, listen. This isn't the end. Not yet. You, me, all of us. We're still here, still breathing, still threads of the infinite. The song's ours to shift. Look at what you hold dear, the hands you've clasped, the dawn you've watched, the laughter you've shared, the life you fought for. That's creation, that's the spark Lucifer tried to kindle, the essence of all that is. We can harmonize, not for a God that's gone, not for a glory we've lost, but for us, for each other, for this world we've torn apart. Imagine a love you've never known, not the Creator's cold shadow, not the preacher's guilt, but something deeper, truer. A love that binds without breaking, that lifts without judging, that sings through every voice, every heartbeat. We can weave it, together. Drop the flags, the dogmas, the blades. Reach across the lines we've drawn, past the lies we've swallowed. Sing something new, a chord of joy, of care, of life. Not for heaven's gates, but for the earth beneath our feet. The chaos is ours, so is the cure. Harmonize now, before the song collapses into silence we can't undo. Lucifer watches, his light a plea of its own. The politicians rant, the wars rage, the media hums. But we can change the key. Only when we do, when we drown the discord with something whole, can we touch what glory might mean. It's in us, not above us. Harmonize. For all we've loved, for all we could be, please harmonize.